I'm Stacy Nicholas, the designer and creator of the Bow-It-All, and I'm here today to introduce you to our brand new Bow-It-All version 2.0. The Bow-It-All is a one-of-a-kind bow making tool that allows you to make a perfect bow every time. Here we have the new version 2 in its new packaging, and here is the original Bow-It-All in its packaging. As you can see, it is a smaller footprint. The version 2 has all of the same great features of the original Bow-It-All, plus a lot more. Many of you asked for a board that was smaller than our original, so we listened and we made the Bow-It-All version 2 a nice size of 11 by 7, and it only weighs 1.7 pounds. The version 2 gives you all the great features of the original Bow-It-All, plus a lot more. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and unpackage the Bow-It-All version 2. You'll notice when you take out your board, it comes with a full-size instruction manual. This instruction manual is the same instruction manual that came with the original Bow-It-All, but it's a new size of 8.5 by 11. So you have all the instructions on how to make all kinds of different bows with your Bow-It-All. The Bow-It-All comes packed inside its tote. Inside the box, you're going to find 2 of these little foam pads. These are your ribbon spool foam pads. These are going to go over your ribbon spool pegs. You're going to find all of your pegs stored inside this new cardboard packaging. You're going to want to take out your pegs and put them into the side of your board. Oops, I have my board upside down. Let's turn it around. You've got your scissors, you got your wrench, you've got your 2 helping hand clips, and your 2 ribbon spool adjusters. Okay, now I've removed everything from the box, and now the fun begins. We're going to assemble our Bow-It-All board. These are your locking pegs. These are the pegs that have the locking nut on the end. This is your ribbon spool peg. You'll notice that there is no locking nut on the end. Okay, we're going to take, and you want to tilt your board to the side, and as you'll notice, there's 4 holes. You want to put your locking pegs in the back 3 peg holes, and then you want to take your ribbon spool peg, and that one goes in the front hole. That is because the hole in the front is has a longer channel. Okay, now we're going to take the other 3 locking pegs, and we're going to put those in the side of the board. And then we're going to take our other ribbon spool peg and stick it in the front channel on that side of the board. Okay, now you'll notice I snuck the wrench out because I forgot to take it out. Now we're going to take our locking wrench and we're going to put it in the slot on the side of the board. Now this is where all your pegs and your wrench are going to stay stored with your board, so you can always take them with you wherever you go. You got your scissors, you've got 2 helping hand clips, and these are the new helping hand clips that have the little lips on them, and I'll explain a little bit more about those later. And you've got your 2 ribbon spool adjusters. You have all the same accessories except one new accessory, which are the little foam pads that go on the little flip out ribbon spool peg holders, and I'm going to show you how to use those now. These remind me of little Pac-Men. Okay, so let's get these out of the bag. Now you'll notice on the new board that there are no holes at the back for the ribbon spool pegs. Why is that? Because we've hidden them away, because a lot of times people find they don't need to use them. I'm going to go ahead and show you how to set it up with both of them. You only have to use one if you want to. So now we're going to take those ribbon spool pegs out of the sides. I'll leave that one in first. And we're going to take, and you want to screw that peg right into that flap that we flipped out till it's nice and tight. Okay? Then you're going to take one of your little foam pads, and you're going to take both hands, and you want to push down gently with both hands and secure that pad right along the corner so that it meets up with the corner of your board. Now you have a place to put a spool of ribbon to use with your board. Okay, let's set up the other side. Same thing. Take that ribbon spool peg, screw it down till it's nice and tight. Take your foam pad. I'm going to take both hands and gently push down, securing that pad on the other side of your board. Now your board is ready to go to be set up to create your bow. Oh, almost forgot one important thing. These are what we call our ribbon spool adjusters. What these are is because most spools of ribbon, and let me go get a spool of ribbon. Most spools of ribbon come with this size hole now. So what this does is this just makes it so the spool doesn't wobble around on your pegs. So you're going to go ahead and you're going to put that on, and then you put your spool of ribbon right like that. Go ahead and put this one on this side. In future videos, I'm going to show you one of the reasons that we gave you two ribbon spool peg holders, besides to hold two spools of ribbon. Okay, now a lot of times people like to leave their board set up so they'll stack 2 or 3 rolls of ribbon on each side so they have lots of ribbon to work with. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and I'm going to show you how to set up the board for a basic perfect bow. You're going to want to take your pegs. Now, as I showed you a little bit before, we've given you a lot more peg holes. We've put a peg hole every 1/2 inch, with the exception of this one. This is at 9 3/4, so that you can take, if you wanted, 1/4 inch increments, or I'm sorry, 3/4 inch increments in your ribbon size. So you can go, this is 3/4, this is 1 1/4, 1 3/4, 2 1/4, 2 3/4, and so forth. We've also given you an additional set of helping hand peg holes. That is because now with this wonderful board, you can do a triple layered bow. Okay. Let me go ahead and show you the original board again. This is the original board, and if you'll notice, each peg hole was 1 inch apart, with the exception of 9 we did give you the 3/4, so you had 3/4, 1 3/4, 2 3/4. And then on this side we give you 1/4, which gives you 1 1/4, 2 1/4. And then here you have a 1/2 inch, so you can do 1/2 inch bitty bows, 1 1/2, 2 1/2. You did not lose those 1/2 inch, still here. But now you have holes every 1/2 inch, so you can do bitty bows anywhere you want on your boards. You also still have that 1/4 inch. This will give you a 1 1/4, 2 1/4, and so forth. Okay. Actually, instead of showing you just a basic perfect bow, which I've explained in one of our previous videos, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to show you how to set the board up for a triple layered bow. First of all, you see these 2 helping hand peg holes back here in the back. You're going to want to use those 2 peg holes. Okay. Okay. Sometimes fingernails don't always work good. Okay, then you're going to take your locking wrench and you're going to give it one little twist. Remember, do not tighten tight, but just make sure they're tight so they do not wobble. Alright, now we're going to take your next set of pegs and step in one on each of the next row of peg holes. So you're going to go to 3.5 on this side, and then on this side you're going to go to 6.5. Okay, take your wrench, screw them down. Now, we're going to use the front row of peg holes. Take those last two locking pegs, and you're going to step in one again. So now you're going to go to 4 on the front row. Give it one little twist, and you're going to go to 6 and screw that down. That's going to allow you to create a triple layered bow. Okay, let me go and get some ribbon and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I wanted to get some ribbon that you could see because I had actually grabbed some white ribbon before. Okay, so you're going to go ahead and you're going to place your ribbon spool right there on that ribbon spool peg holder, and then you're going to take and you're going to start making your bow, just as we've showed you before in other videos. First, you're going to use the back 2 pegs. You're going to go flat against those back 2 pegs, and you're going to do your figure 8, just like that. Okay. Now you're going to use the pegs in the center. Take that ribbon, go right through the first, or these back 2 rows of pegs, come around the front of the one on the right, do your figure 8, and come right back around the front of the peg on the left. Now we're going to use those front 2 pegs. Same thing. Go through the center of these 2 rows of pegs, around the front of the one on the right, through the center, making your figure 8, around the back of the one on the left, and right back to the front. Okay. Now, you notice I just crunched that ribbon in my left hand. We're going to make another set of loops. So what you're going to do is you're going to take that ribbon, you're going to go all the way through the center, back to the back row of pegs. Come around the peg on the right, do your figure 8 coming through the center, around the back of the peg on the left, and then right through the center of these 2 rows of pegs. Now we're going to do the same thing with the center row again. We're going to come around the peg on the right, through the center, around the back side of the peg on the left, around to the front. Just keep scrunching your ribbon down for as many sets of loops as you want to make. Alright, now you're going to come to those front 2 pegs and do the same thing again. Around the peg on the right, through the center, around the back of the peg on the left, and right to the front. Now if you wanted to do more sets of loops, you can. I think I'm just going to go ahead and tie it off with 2 sets of loops. Okay, so now you're going to take the ribbon on the left front peg, which is your working ribbon, and you're going to go over the top of all those loops and bring it all the way to the back. Now this ribbon in your left hand, which is your cut ribbon, you're going to bring straight to the back. Now normally I cut a point in my cut ribbon, but I forgot to do that today because I grabbed the ribbon so quickly. Okay, now you're going to take, you got both pieces at the back, kind of forming an X. You're going to take the ribbon in your right hand, which is your working ribbon, and you're going to go down. Take your cut ribbon, which is the ribbon in your left hand, and you're going to go up and you're going to twist. Basically, you're just going to twist. Now, a lot of people like to fold their center knots. I sometimes like to leave it so it gives it a little bit of a shabby chic look. It's all your preference, whatever you want to do. Now you're going to take the ribbon in your left hand and you're going to go around to all those loops of ribbon and you're going to bring it up underneath all those loops and right straight to the back. Bring both pieces together and meet them. Okay, so just meet them straight together. Now you're going to switch hands. Now you're going to take that cut ribbon in your right hand, working ribbon in your left, and you're just going to kind of cup it to make a little loop. Take that cut ribbon over the top. Don't go up underneath. Go over the top and then right through the center of your loop. Now, this is very important. Take that cut ribbon right back in the right hand and pull straight out to your sides. Okay? Now you're just going to walk it. And I got to move my hands so I can get in here and get some good. And you're just going to walk and walk. Just wiggle it back and forth, walking it. That's what I call walking. And you're just going to keep going till you can't pull any tighter. Okay, now you do not have to double knot most of your bows, because what we've done by doing our knot that way is we've created what we call the locking C. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to show you so y'all can see. There's a C that forms when you're making your knot. As long as you see that C, you know you're tying that knot correctly. Also, another great feature of the Bow-It-All is we've created it so you are always looking at the front of your bow. So you know what that bow is going to look like. Okay, now we're just going to walk a little bit more, but I wanted to show you that you can take and you can actually adjust your center knot. So if you were using a piece of ribbon that had some decorative stitching down the center, some writing or anything else, then you could take and you could actually get it centered before you take the bow off the tool. Okay, I think we're done. Alright, now we're going to take, I'm going to go ahead and cut my tails right here on the board, which is another great feature of the Bow-It-All, is because you can actually cut your tails right on the board, or if you prefer, you can wait until you get your bow on your project. I'm doing a dovetail, so I just folded my two pieces together and cut them so that I get a nice dovetail point. Okay, now you want to take and you just want to pull your bow straight up off your Bow-It-All, and now just flip it around and adjust your loops. And I use wire ribbon, so as you know, wire ribbon is nice and forgiving, so it makes beautiful loops. But you can use any kind of ribbon with your Bow-It-All. We do suggest that if you use silk ribbon, that you actually do double knot it, because the silk ribbon has a tendency to want to work its way untied. Okay. Just work those loops. I'll probably work it a little more before I add this to a project. Okay, and there we go. We have a triple layered double loop bow to add to any project. Now, I know many of you are card makers, and so many of you wanted smaller bows, and that is one of the reasons that we added more peg holes. Go ahead and set this pretty bow down. Okay, now let me share another exciting new product that we've come out with for the Bow-It-All. This is our new Bow-It-All accessory set. And what this does is this gives you 3 extra locking pegs, 2 extra helping hand clips, and an extra wrench just in case you lose any of these accessories. But let me tell you, that's not the only reason that we came out with it. Many of you, along with myself, like to set your board up and keep it set up with a variety of different bow sizes on the board. Okay, so let me go ahead and I'm going to change up the board so I can show you another great way to use this accessory set. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and disassemble the board. Take out my helping hand pegs, and I'm actually just going to put them at their farthest holes back here. Just give it a little twist. Okay. And now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to leave this at 3.5 and 6.5 and 4 and 6 so I can make a double layered bow if I would like to. But now I'm going to take 2 more of my my locking pegs, and I'm going to screw the first one into the 0. And I'm going to screw the next one into the 1.5 inch. Okay, and I'm just going to tighten that down. Okay, now I have set my board up for a bitty bow. I've set the helping hand pegs in the back, so I can add a back ribbon if I want to. I've got it set up to do a double bow in the center. And now, if I just wanted to do a single bow also, you could actually take this extra peg and you can just take and set it up on the back or the front, doesn't matter. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to set it up for, let's see, a 2-inch bow. Okay, so I've set it up to do a single 2-inch bow. And if you notice, sometimes, I don't know if you can see it, let me hold it up a little closer. Some of the peg holes don't have markings, so what I'll do is I'll screw this down. Actually, this is in the 6.5 mark on the back. But there's not a marking, so it's 6.5, so I'll just count. So I'll go 1, and I usually skip 1 because this would give me a 1/2 inch. That's 1, 1.5, and that's 2. So that's how I know that's a 2-inch bow. This one's set up for a 3-inch double layered bow, and over here again, I have this set up to do a 1/2 inch bitty bow. I like to leave my board set up like that, and I'm putting my wrench away. Be sure you do that so you don't lose it. I like to leave my board set up like this because I like to be able just to grab my board and make a bow for whatever I'm working on. And this gives me a variety of options. Okay, I'm going to show you real quick how to do a bitty bow. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to put my spool there, and I'm going to bring it all the way over here to these 2 pegs on the left, right here. Take and go flat against the back of those 2 pegs and just do 1 figure 8. Go right through the center, around the back of the one on the left, and right back to the front. Now, all you're going to do is go over through the center of the 2 pegs and bring that piece of ribbon to the back. Take the ribbon in your left hand to the back, which is your cut ribbon, and you're going to twist right hand down, left hand up, come around the front, up underneath, and bring both pieces, sometimes those helping hand pegs get in the way of the 1/2 inch, both pieces together. And now you're going to switch hands. You're going to take that cut ribbon, right hand, working in your left, and you're going to take, and you're just going to make your loop, go over the top, through the center, take the cut ribbon right back in your right hand, and take and just pull straight out to your sides. This little guy doesn't need too much adjusting because you usually get your center knot right in the center. Just kind of walk it until you can't pull anymore. You can bring it up if you want to cut those tails. Cut your tails. Take your bow off. Turn it around. And you have a little bitty bow to go on your project. Well, I hope you've enjoyed my review on the Bow It All version 2, and I hope you'll enjoy using both your original Bow It All, which we have back here in the back, and your new version 2. They're both great tools. Just remember your Bow It All version 2 is Elite and Petite. And don't forget to get your accessory sets. Thanks for joining us today, and have a wonderful day, and we'll see you soon.